Testing the recording. Testing the recording. I think we're good to go. What's up, everybody? We're back. We back at it like a crack addict. Kinda. Again, I've been away again. That's because of life. Life. Just taking care of things. I really hope you guys have been all right. At the very least, you guys are doing okay. And just a quick note, a little bit of a life update. Look, you got to take care of what you got to do, right? It was tax season. You got jobs. I gotta take care of some things, take care of my people, take care of my work. But I'm low key excited because I'm been actually getting a consistent amount of sleep instead of sleeping at like 3 in the morning and waking up at like 6:30. Now I sleep at 10, and then I wake up at around 5 or 4, get my day started. I'm an old man now, man. I'm about to get them old man hours. And look, hey, see, you know what I'm saying? Look at this. The balder I get, the closer I get to God. Know what I'm saying? She, that hairline. Me and my receding hairline, we go way back. Oh, anyways, hope you guys have been all right. This is another draw along or paint along or activity along. Hope you guys have been good. And as usual, we're doing a little bit of traditional stuff. I'm going to eventually do some digital things. But I've been practicing a little bit of watercolor. I wish I could practice a little bit more. And the paper I have that I'm using is actually not all that great. I got like a notebook. It's a bit thicker, so it can absorb more water, but this isn't really doing it. It gets a little waxy and it doesn't absorb things too well. So for my next run, this is a good practice for me to, mess up and just practice and get some mileage in. But overall, I need to get some better paper. If you guys have any recommendations, let your boy know. But first thing, something important is happening right now. And maybe you're not an artist, or you're not a programmer, or maybe you don't work in industry or something, but it's something that I find is extremely relevant, whether you're in the industry or not, or whether you are an artist of, maybe it's your hobby or something. And that is AI. I know people are tired of hearing about AI, but you have to, in my opinion, you have to be informed of these things. I have some students who say like, yeah, I'm just tired of hearing about it. And I'm like, but you at the very least have to know the reality of what's going on in the world and how it affects you. And yeah, it's a weird situation. It's something. So recently, as you guys know, Marvel had huge layoffs in their art department. They got rid of everybody. And I'm not talking about this to bring about like, what's the word? Like, I'm not trying to make drama content. I'm genuinely trying to make I'm here to tell you guys how important it is that you're informed of these things and how you navigate this space and what you can ultimately do. I've talked about this before in some previous videos, but it's something that I just want to, I guess maybe it's encouragement. Um, and I'm not the type of person that's gonna like sugarcoat things, or I'm not gonna say like everything's gonna be okay and AI is gonna go away and all you gotta do is just A, B, and C and you'll be all right. I'm not here to say that, because the truth is that no one really knows what's going to happen. But I, as a person, I always assume the worst case scenario. And for the longest time, people were making fun of robots or AI not being able to function properly, and they're like, "Aha, look at this. They can't even do fingers. They can't even do this, this, and that." And clearly, I'm like, I'm superior, right? So, but then what you're seeing now is this advancement in technology where AI is able to generate videos, and now you're seeing it in commercials. Like you see it more in media. Um, I remember I was over at my grandmother's, and she was watching an ad on TV. Like she was watching TV, there was an ad, and in the ad there was some kind of like, I think it was like a Viagra commercial, and it had all these AI generated people, these like hot girls and super exposed lighting and everything so shiny, but the average person doesn't know. They can't really tell. But I knew it immediately what it was. I was like, this is fucking AI. And to most people, if you're watching this and you're not, you're not an artist, maybe you're just following along. And first of all, again, as always, I appreciate everybody. I forgot to say that too. Thank you guys again. But if you're just a person who's not involved in the art sphere or anything, it to you it's you're probably not thinking anything of it, right? It's like it's good enough, it's fine. And I'm not here to tell people what they should value and what they should try and what they shouldn't, um, because ultimately it's up to you. A lot of these things are affecting the industry first and foremost. It's affecting them and it trickles down. So what do I mean by this is, as an artist, you see how it's affecting jobs. As a programmer, you're seeing how it's affecting that job market. And you have people who are worried for the future. You get AI being used in commercials and it's going to be used in film. The way I see it is it's only going to get more real and more believable, and I accept that that's a reality. I accept that AI is a lot of these companies are utilizing AI. Even, and I have to admit, even for the company I work for. So I teach and I also work in commercials. I do, or in advertising. So I do storyboarding, I do key art, and I do oh God, what is that called again? Um, like brand. I'm responsible for visualizing their brand identity regarding for advertising, whether it's for billboards or whatnot. And this is more in the pharma side. And I know, right? Big pharma. But there is a lot of, I just want to briefly talk about how there's a lot of creative um, creative freedom and art direction that they have. So they have me designing monsters and spaceships, and it's really weird. It's really really weird. But even in my company, they utilize AI, and I'm not gonna say that I'm against it or I'm for it, because I mean clearly the way I stand, the way where I stand with this whole AI thing is I I'm not for it in terms of its usage, especially ethically. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna slam people for using it. Because the average user, they don't understand what it is that they're using. To them, it's just like a fun little prompt tool. And here I am saying like, you know how much water it takes? You know how much energy it takes? It's like, yeah, there's all these moral implications, but I'm not going to talk about that. I really don't, I don't care, um, because people are going to do what they're going to do. I can't tell somebody what they should or what they can or cannot do with their dollar. If that's the market, unfortunately, that's the reality. And people are greedy. Some people don't care. Some people just want to mess around. It's like I can't blame these people. I mean, you do have people who are just complete assholes and they don't give a shit about what's going on with anybody and they're trying to take jobs away. It's like, yeah, it is what it is, right? I My motto is all is fair in love and war. And I'm not saying that you should go around screwing people over and taking advantage by cheating or using AI. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, hey, get your bag, bro. If whatever helps you win, it's fucked up how you do it, but the only reason why like morality exists is because we as human beings put that meaning, and I choose to want to have some morality in my life. But hey, some people don't care. A lot of these CEOs, they just don't care. So the whole thing with the whole Marvel layoffs, which goes back to this whole industry thing, is this AI thing is affecting every part. Um, Not so much like in more smaller independent projects, but in these big corporate machines, it's gonna be implemented more. I don't know how advanced, but I always assume it's only gonna get better. And if you guys don't know, again, Marvel laid off most of their entire art department. And these guys have been with Marvel since the beginning to set the art direction and a style guide for all of their films and their characters. These characters aren't just superheroes. Everything from the design, from the color palette, to what they wear, to their character development, all of these things are meticulously crafted from the very beginning. Artists like Ryan Maynarding, um, Andy Park, and like all those guys, they're like the top. They're like top designers in the industry. Just completely let go. Disney and Marvel's not saying this, but the way I see trends, especially working in advertising, I know what's to come. A part of it, a big part of it, what I assume is Marvel has not been making the smash hits and making the returns to fill the pockets, the deep pockets of these CEOs, making billions of dollars each year with their movies and TV. So because they're not seeing these results, they're cutting back on production. They're cutting back on the people involved by letting certain departments go. I think it's a terrible mistake that they're making. It just goes to show that these CEOs, these corporate people, they just don't care. They don't care about the craft. Unfortunately, I can't make them care. Like nobody can. Excuse me. I heard something. But because the beast that Marvel has grown into, it's making so much money. So you have these investors and CEOs and these corporate overlords, just all they care about is money. Yeah, sure it's capitalism, but at the end of the day, it's like all these people care about is their own greed. And because they realize that they could cut down on costs to just get something out there, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna cut down on labor. They don't care about the craft. They don't care about culture. They only care to just grow their profits by any means necessary. So with the current trend of AI, this is the route a lot of these big corporations are taking. And unfortunately, what what I'm afraid the most, it's not even I'm that it's not that I'm afraid. It's just what I'm disappointed in the most is that art is becoming more and more like this thing that you just consume like fast food, where it's just good enough. So AI is at a point where it's good enough for the average person to pass it off as like, yeah, that's cool. And it's good enough that people consume it the same way we do with fast food. I'll admit, like, I eat fast food, but it's not nourishing. It doesn't mean anything. It's becoming like McDonald's. And that's what this AI thing is. It's that these corporate companies seize an opportunity to make art like fast food for people to consume. And what has been proven through media in the recent years of them pumping out these corporations just pumping out slop and stuff, and like people still watch it. People still look. I'm not trying to hate on people who enjoy remakes, but like, yeah, it's people still consume that. Like, we all still watch remakes. It's the safest thing, and it's good enough. It's just good enough to pass by in society, and I can't blame people. I'm not mad at people for like consuming stuff. It's not their fault. Um, I know a lot of people are angry. There's this whole thing online of like people flaming others for, hey, if you're a consumer and you're consuming AI, like you're part of the problem. It's like, yeah, sure, but like, am I gonna be on my high horse and say like I'm all moral when I buy cheap products like clothing and stuff that's probably made from like slave labor or sweatshops? Yeah, I'll be a hypocrite. Like from time to time, I'll buy H&M. But anyways, so corporate, you got greed, trying to cut costs, make things cheap as possible. They're not looking out to make a good product. They just want to make a product that's good enough that people will just consume. Fast food, the fast foodification of art through the path of AI. And again, these guys who has been with Marvel for decades, since the beginning, who set the entire art direction. These guys are top of their line. Like they're so good. They're so good at what they do. They inspired a generation. They inspired a whole a generation of people to watch their movies, to cosplay as these characters, to want to get into art and design and filmmaking. These guys have generated, they helped Disney and Marvel generate billions of dollars. And well, how are they paid back? With a handshake and saying thank you for your service. Get the fuck out of here. That's insane. It's like it's so insane to me. I'm not surprised, right? I've always kind of seen this coming that no industry is safe. But I was more surprised that it happened just now. Maybe because I almost forgot. I was like, oh, right. Well, those guys are fine for now. And then I'm like, oh, right. This is still a thing. That's the reality. And you can't be loyal to these corporate overlords because they don't care. They truly don't care. I have friends in industry who recently got let go. Um, they don't they have no loyalty to these people. They're not going to take care of you. I'm not saying like every company is like this, but most big corporations are like this. Like you're there for the job, and once they could find something that's better or they think is better and cheaper, that's what they're gonna go for. It is what it is. Now, mind you, these artists who left, they're not gonna have any issue getting a job. I'm pretty sure they were getting hundreds of emails, dozens of messages, or hundreds of messages saying, please, if you we would love to have you work for our studio to set the next art direction for the next generation. Like, we would love for you to do that for us. Please let us know if you're interested. And what's going to happen, in my opinion, is since since Marvel cut down on their entire art department, they're going to outsource a lot of the work to like production studios who are more than likely using AI because they feel like they need to use AI to stay ahead. Because the truth is that especially in corporate, if you say that you're using AI, it's like 50% AI and you 50% know how to problem solve, you're more likely to get hired because these corporate overlords, like they think they want the new shiny thing that's going to solve all their problems. They don't understand the implications of what it is. Like these old people, they just don't know. They just think, oh, okay, AI, that's the future, so let's hire him. I seen it firsthand with like my company. I'm like they have these board meetings. Watch again. Dude. If they watch this, I'm about to get fired. I don't give a fuck. Like they have these meetings and then they use AI, and then nobody in the meeting knows what's going on with the AI. They don't know what the image is supposed to say. So they come back to us to fix the issues of the AI. Now, I'm not going to say like I will say what AI does really well is that it takes it takes everything as average. It takes the statistics and averages out every statistic. And it creates the most average looking thing. That's why it doesn't really like innovate. That's why everything looks the same. And so if your art is like average, AI will beat you in that department, unfortunately. But then that's the thing with humans is that we're not average. We have more. I'm gonna get into that in a bit, but yeah, they see the most average thing and they think it's good enough, or sometimes in my case, in these meetings they'll use AI and it's not working, so then they have to come to us to fix the issue when I could have just fixed the issue from the jump. And then they're like losing money from it. Now, I will say when it comes to art directors who don't know how to paint and draw, who doesn't understand the basics, they it's helpful for them because they could inform us as to what it is that they're trying to do. So they'll put a prompt into AI and then they'll say, this is what I'm looking for, but I need it to be official. I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying here. So I will admit like there's some use to that, but for you to utilize it in all of your production is like crazy. It's gonna be so crazy. Like you're just gonna make the most average looking thing that's generic. It doesn't really make sense. And then you're gonna have to rehire artists to fix the issues when you could have just had them in the beginning in the first place. I don't understand. The thing is this. The thing is that what I see is that this whole AI thing is not solving it. AI is solving a problem that doesn't exist. I know some people might think like, wait, what? I'm gonna clarify. Let me see if I can clarify. AI is solving a problem that doesn't exist. For this industry, these big corporations, they have money. It's mostly because these people want to increase their pay raise, they want to get more money. And if they're not seeing the result, they think it's a problem. But then it's still sustainable. They're still making like billions and billions of dollars. It's keeping everybody fed. So it's not solving a problem. It's only a problem because of corporate greed. It's only a problem because of greed or just laziness. That's why it's an issue. But other than that, it's not an issue. Nobody says, like even in film, right? Nobody says like, man, you know the movie The Godfather? Yeah, that movie was pretty cool, but man, if only AI was there to make that movie better. Like nobody says that. It wasn't a problem. It's not an issue. You just make something that has heart and meaning, and you just make something that's good, and the universe is gonna return. It's gonna pay you dividends. That's what I believe. I mean, there are cases where you have something that's a good product and it doesn't get the traction that it deserves, right? Like movies like Blade Runner, um, and certain video games. I understand that, but the your AI isn't what's gonna would have fixed that problem in the first place, right? There's more to it that goes into it. It's promotion, it's advertising, it's trends, what people are into, the economy. It's like all these things play into it that you just cannot predict it. So what do these people do is they take the safest, sure route. They think it's a sure bet where if they just use this whole AI thing that it'll be fine. Um, yeah, it's just trying to solve an issue that doesn't exist. That's the way I see it. Like making art good, hiring people and paying them well is not the issue. Is never the issue. Some people might say, well, I want to start a studio and I don't have the money for it. And I'm like, then you got to figure that out. Like, you figure that out. It's oftentimes like what people value. Like, for example, I'm willing to pay $50 for a book, but the next person might not be so inclined to do that, right? Like the next person might not feel so inclined to buy that $50 book because they don't value it. But I value it. So I'm going to take my hard-earned money and buy what I like. Same thing with some people who buy that luxury car. Clearly, the value that you have for that luxury car was so valuable to you. You spent like 80 grand or something, 100 grand, 300 grand to buy that car. I'm saying is the value of something is determined by what a person is willing to pay for. And if you wanted to start a studio and maybe you wanted to get your animation going or whatever, like you just have this dream of this movie, there's going to be a lot of things and steps that you have to take. And I don't I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but you have to figure it out. And just because you can get things for cheap doesn't mean that it's going to be good. Chances are it's not going to be good. The reason why people are willing to spend so much to hire artists like Andy Park and Ryan Maynarding and these other guys, oh my God, I keep forgetting their names, but it's because they're so good at what they do. And guess what? It goes to show. Look how much Marvel and Disney's worth. And this goes to like every artist that works under them. I'm not just saying about them. I'm just saying just as an artist, like if you're an artist, you have more value than you know. And yeah, it's like AI isn't gonna create your feature film and make it good just because it's cheap and then you're using AI to feature it, doesn't mean that it's going to make it good. Is it passable? Possibly, but that's not the issue here. If you really cared, if you really cared for your brand, you would pay for it the same way that you would pay for that luxury car or the clothes or buying $100 meal in one night. Like clearly you value that. So from my experience working with people, people are willing to pay because they value the work that's put in there. Sometimes they pay too much. Not saying like I'm like rolling in dough or anything, but I'm just saying like I just know these and heard of these things too. So what am I ultimately getting to is if you're worried about AI, you have every right to be. Are you screwed? I don't know. Right? Like are you screwed? Probably not. I will say like you're not. But will you be screwed? I don't know. That depends on how you maneuver in this world. I this is more the reason why I'm trying to go back to do traditional stuff because I believe like there's something that's lost when I'm doing stuff like this. It's not quick. I'm forced to take my time and think through what it is that I'm doing and I'm slowing down and I'm discovering and I'm finding beauty in this so much. Even though I'm fucking up and making all these mistakes, this is why I'm starting this channel is because I I just want to create a space where people can just hang out and draw and just create or maybe just have something in the background while you're doing other stuff and just shoot the shit. And then essentially me practicing, it's like it's something that I wanted to slow down, especially with the advent of social media and just doom scrolling and you're just getting slob. You just society now is just so overfed with information and product and everything's in your face. And I'm just like, dude, I gotta slow down. I gotta read a book. I gotta do some traditional painting. I gotta slow down. Let me not try to speed up what it is that I'm doing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to just speed things up. I'll get faster, but I want to go back to how I felt when I was a kid of discovery and not care so much about like how it looks because like I'm making mistakes left and right, but I'm like discovering and learning. And that to me is like magic to me. You know, I get so inspired when I see people creating their own things, whether you're doing traditional or digital. I get so inspired by that because it's you, even if it's not perfect. It's like it's you. You conjured that from your being. You started off as this infant who didn't know how to speak proper. And as you get older, you start drawing little symbols of a sun and a house and your family members and you're just having a good time. You're not thinking about, the economy and stuff. It's you're just discovering. And this is why I'm doing this. Um, I'm not going to pretend that we don't need to make money. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying everything's going to be okay. Just yeah, man, just pick up that pencil and just I'm not saying like yeah, just keep drawing and you're going to become rich. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, look, I got to slow down because all this shit is going crazy. And everything becoming so digital, we're like losing we're losing a sense of ourselves because we're so caught up on this rat race of having to get ahead and be caught up with trends. Um, yeah. And again, like if you're worried about AI, I'm going to say this. You have all the right to be scared. And to be honest, like you should be. Like you should If that's the field that you're trying to get into with the industry, you should be worried. You have every right to be worried. But I'm going to tell you this right now is when it comes to art, the reason why we buy into things is not because of how realistic or how shiny something looks. What we relate to as human beings is how we relate to others, how we can connect with people, how and ultimately it's like it's your story. It's who you are as a person and how you connect with others. Even you guys like watching my videos, you guys aren't just here to like see my techniques and stuff. You just want to hang out and relate and chill and draw. It's like this is the connection. And as human beings, since the dawn of time, what we cared about is the love of stories that we express within ourselves outwards. And like think about it. If what human beings cared about is how detailed or how shiny something is, if that's all we cared about, shit like Pokemon, um, like Nintendo, Yoshi, what else? Chikawa, Sanrio, all those things would not be popular. If anything, it's proving the opposite. People want to connect to things. And over the recent years, I had to like really reconnect myself with that. I had to ask myself, like, what is it that I really like? And then Dave Raposa was saying this is the first fan that you have to have is you. Like if you have to be the fan of what it is that you're doing, don't do it because it's gonna get you clicks. Don't do it because you're trying to like become super famous. I mean, obviously we're all trying to like make it, right? Like everyone's just trying to have financial freedom and whatnot, but like do it because you're genuinely passionate about it and go all in into that passion. You can't half-ass this thing. If anything, more than ever now, you just can't be average and be subservient to trends. I believe that the standard of AI is so not AI, the standard for art is so low because everyone's just consuming things that are just good enough, like AI, that if you just have an inkling of a personality and you just try, you'll stand out. So if you're an artist and you're worried, first, don't be subservient to these corporate overlords. And I will say that if you're just a really good designer, there's going to be work for you. There is space for that. Disney and Marvel is not the end all be all when it comes to art. Okay? You got super giant games. You have these indie studios. You got the people who make Silk Song. You got people making claymation. You don't think that there's room for this? That people don't value these things? Um, yeah, there's room for all of this. You can't look at these big corporations and say everything's going to shit. I mean, it is in that space, but there's room for it, especially with your stuff. More so than ever now with the power of social media, you guys can promote your own stuff. You could create your own audience. And I talk about this to students and I say, I always talk about this whole AI thing, and the best thing for you to do is to create your own things. You have to be the fan of you. You have to go back to what made you the child that discovered art and enjoyed it. And what is it that you enjoyed? And just like really hone in on that and take yourself seriously. You can't half-ass this stuff, trying to follow trends because you're trying to stay relevant. Like I know um I could make something clickbaity, and just I don't know, just always talk about drama and whatnot. But something like this, maybe only like 10 people see it, but again, I want to create something that's meaningful. I want to create something that relates to people. Um, yeah, yeah. My ramblings for 40 minutes, but I believe more so than ever now that we need more independent creators because there's so much like slop that's being pushed. And it's not to push back or anything. It's just that as a society, we're just consuming art like it's McDonald's instead of taking time. And I'm a culprit of it. Like I sometimes I go on IG and I'll see art and I'll only spend like a second and I'll scroll past it. So I've actively taken the time, made the decision to just take time with each post and just appreciate what they did, whether it's like good or bad. And I know I talk a lot of shit, but I dead ass, I honestly appreciate when people put in effort. I will never knock somebody for putting in effort. But then if you're trying to like, if you're faking shit or you're trying to bullshit away, hell yeah, I'm gonna talk hella shit. Trying to fucking phony. Yeah. And it's not gonna be easy. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. That's why not everyone does it. This is the reason why everybody follows the corporations or these trends because they see that it's successful and they see that as like the benchmark of what they have to do. Because doing anything otherwise is scary. Starting something that's completely new or maybe it's not trending, it's like that's scary because that's time that you're putting into something and it might not pay you back. You might not get anywhere with it, but ultimately when you guys are creating stuff, it's about you and how you relate to people. And that's the thing that in my truth that AI cannot replace is you and who you are, your background, your upbringing, your voice and things. Only you know what it's like to, depending on your background, like you only you know what it's like to live that experience. Now, do I think that AI might get to the point where they become walking androids that can have emotional connection? Possibly. But at that point, it's like, it doesn't mean that it makes you irrelevant. I believe that humans are naturally just biased towards humans. Like why do people travel to like across the globe to visit these cultures who still live a humble life without like technology? There's a certain level of like magic and mysticism that's like lost there. But I made this video not as clickbait or to whatever. I'm doing it because everyone's afraid, and I'm saying, good, be afraid. Now go make something. Go make something. Like be the only person that can do the thing that you know how to do. And what better way than it is to voice your opinions through storytelling, to connecting with humans. That's why we do this stuff. You do it because there's a spark in you that's that means something, and then other people can see that. Um, this is also the reason why, like, I'm practicing watercolor. I haven't touched watercolor uh, since like high school, right? So I'm going back to like study this stuff because I was so inspired. So I brought these comics with me, and I'm trying to do more things traditionally now. So Peach Momoko, okay, you guys can see here. She does everything traditionally. I think she does. And she does everything with watercolor. And this inspired me so much. Look at that. And yeah, she works for Marvel, but people are just fans of her. Like when she does like custom artwork and stuff, or custom variants and covers, people buy that shit. Like, look at this. Like, I look at this stuff and I go, oh, people still do these things. Look at this. This is incredible. This is called Demon Wars. I usually buy all of her comics, but I was so inspired and I love the way she does her paneling, her artwork. So I was like, I want to try some watercolor. See this? She doesn't even know me. And I'm like, you've inspired me to try out more traditional stuff. And also, there's another artist, some watercolor artist that I follow, and I'm like, yeah, I want to try this. There's another one. This is Doctor Strange. I buy a lot of comics, but the artwork in this, it's not realistic or anything. It's very psychedelic. If you guys can see, it's very, very psychedelic. The artwork is crazy cool. Look at that shit, bro. Right? It's like shapes. It's like liquid. It's like someone moved water with color in it and just like moved it around. Right? Look at it. I'm gonna show you guys some more. But I see stuff like this and I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. I also have like Martian Manhunter. That art style goes crazy. And some people will look at this, you got people who really don't do art or whatever, and they're like, it looks kind of stupid and silly. But hey, that's an opinion, right? Clearly, I think this is cool, and it's not out of pretentiousness. It's purely because I love the energy and composition. Like, look at this. Oh my God, that is so sick. I got one more for you. Oh my goodness. Dude, I'm nutting right now, man. Nutting. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't draw like this, but I'm like inspired. This is so sick, right? I'm saying, you guys, there's room for you. You just have to apply yourself. You have to stay disciplined, practice. You don't know what it is that you need to work on until like you start it. Um, yeah. Yeah. And even in the gaming sphere, or sometimes just like in media as a whole, I get so surprised when something gets announced and I'm like, oh, I never would have thought that they would make that or do like a whole new overhaul of that. Like for example, there's a game, I think it's called games like, oh, Dragon Quest, the Dragon Quest like remake or remaster. And the art team does an amazing job with that. Or movies like Spider-Verse or um, certain films that come out that's just like very different and new. I'm like, oh, right. There's still room for this. Not everything has to be trendy. I remember when I was studying concept, the trend was to do near future military tech dudes with like robot heads. That was the trend. I thought it was super cool, but everybody was doing it and just photo bashing the shit out of their military designs. And it looks cheap because you just go over it with chromatic aberration and then call it a day. And I remember there was this guy named Mr. Concept Art. No one still, nobody knows who he is to this day. And he was making fun of that trend by photo bashing kitchen appliances and bathroom, like shaving, what is it, shaving machines and kitchen appliances, and attaching it to a head of a person putting chromatic aberration and some lens flaring and then calling it concept art. And he was just essentially just making fun of concept art. And I thought it was funny. I'm like, yeah, that's essentially what I was trying to do. Like, it just cheapens the art, right? But yeah, it was just funny. And then now, like, no one's really doing that stuff. That's not the trend anymore. Um, just do you, man. Like, and be honest about it too. Like, don't just, I'm not here, again, I'm not here to say, like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. You just gotta keep drawing. I'm saying apply yourself. Like, tell stories that only you know and how you relate to people. Because at the end of every art piece is that people care more about the artist and the journey that they had to go through, the struggles of the ups and downs, the thought process. Anytime like we do critique in class, I don't want to just know technique. I want to know how you feel. Genuinely. That's the first question I always ask. I always ask, like, how do you feel about this? Um, how was this for you? What did you go through? What is this about? Like all the technical stuff is like something I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we teach that, I teach that, I could go over it, I could give pointers, but ultimately I want to know what this means for you. Because there's discovery happening. If you care about, if you put care and love into your pieces, even though it's not the best, you're still discovering parts about yourself and exploring. And that's what I'm interested in. And that's what ultimately stories are for. So yeah, I just want to say that more so than ever now, people need to create their own things. Um, maybe it means that you need to do more traditional analog hands-on things, but ultimately just do it for you. Like what makes you happy? I got this little plushy thing. Look at this. It's not digital, right? Yeah, it's just like I'm even like journaling here. I have um when I write stories and stuff, like I journal, I create like little notes for myself, right? A lot of this stuff is I'm just finding myself again regarding how I approach work and not feeling like I have to just make a product that's going to sell. Ultimately, I have to just put what my one of my teachers, one of these teachers that who's goated, his name is Gary Garretts. He says you got to put tender love and care into the things you do. Tender love and care. If you do that, you will connect to an audience. And more so than ever now, you need to create things that relate to people, that connect with people. And trust me, you will. Like, trust me when I say this. And I said this before. As long as you apply yourself and you take yourself seriously and you're passionate, you're genuinely passionate about what it is that you do, you will find an audience who's going to support you, who's going to want to see you through the journey. Like I'm telling you this more so than ever now. So yeah, sorry it's a bit of a long video, but I hope you guys found some use. And yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, oh, so in my previous video, I've said that I wanted to talk about how a thing that I've learned in life is to not fuck around with people's money. And it's not something that happened to me. It's just what I've always believed. And it's due to my surroundings. I've been around people whose life was in danger because they owed money to the wrong people. Um, I've been in situations where not been in a situation. I just been around people who's been in these situations. So I've learned very quickly to not do that, to not mess with people's money because principality is everything, right? Like principle is everything in people. Um, you can't you can't lie and expect people to, in their good graces, give you something and then you breaking their trust. One thing that people don't like is people who break their trust. No one's going to want to work with you. And I'm talking about this because there's what I find crazy is that there's an artist. I don't know what they're doing now, but there's a company who started a Kickstarter, making like plushies and stuff, and then they turned it into a video game. They tried to turn it into a video game. Turns out everything that they were promoting was a lie. They said they have a studio and all they have in-house people working in it. And this game is going to be a cozy game about animals and stuff. And all you got to do is just go to the Kickstarter, support them. And nothing came out of it because turns out the studio did not exist. And this company outsourced the work to a different studio who also didn't get paid money. I think it was like over $1 million that they were owed. Yet that company tried to do a settlement for them, saying, "Hey, look, we're willing to finish this game for you, but this you have to pay us this and give us rights to this, this, and this, but we'll finish it for you." Still giving them a way out, and they said, "Nah, fuck all that," and just like ran with it. And I think they have a court date next year. I don't know what's happening because nobody knows where they are. People are trying to reach out to them through Discord, through social media, and they're just not responding. Um, and I'm talking about this because this is somebody from my school. I don't know. I don't think I've ever met this person, but I think they dropped out because they like did so well in their business and then partnered up with some dude to make a game. And yeah, I was like, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. So talking about that because look, please don't mess with people's just money. This goes to like even if you're working, like if you're working maybe a retail job or something, and people put their trust in you to show up in time and to do the job, like don't mess with people's money. Like once you sign a contract or something, like just uphold your end of the bargain. Because the last thing you want to do is burn bridges and leave things on a bad note, unless like the person is like the person that you're working with, the team that you're working with, are just holy shit, they did something heinous. Look, don't burn bridges like that, and also don't mess with people's money. Um, yeah, that's the one thing I've learned. I would much rather be poor and homeless than owe somebody thousands and thousands of dollars that I can't pay back. Um, I don't do that. I would much rather just pay things out of my own pocket. I don't ask people to lend me something like money. I would never do that. I mean, like a game or I don't know, pencil or something. That's fine. Hey, look, a brush. Woo. But I would never ask people to like, hey, lend me this and then I'll pay you back next year. Like I would never do that. Um, Now, if I don't have cash right now, but I could pay them back later, that's one thing. It's like, hey, I don't have my wallet with me. I'm gonna Venmo you the money once I get back home. Like, yeah, that's fine. But then having to say like, hey, can you give me like a grand and then I'll pay you back someday? I would never do that, man. I've known people who were in a bad situation. Um, Maybe there's a topic for another video, but yeah, I've known a guy who owed money to someone or to a group of people, and if he didn't pay by midnight, they were going to kill him. But hey, that's a story for another time. But at the end of the day, he was all right because he got the money, and he promised to pay this money back. I didn't give him this money. I just know I was there when this shit happened, and He never paid it back. Never paid it back. But y'all, look, I I genuinely wish the best for you guys. Please do not let this all this AI talk, make you give up on art. Like, please don't give up. Just keep going. Like, keep creating the things that you care about. It's really important. Do it for you, right? Do it for the people that are gonna. They do it for the child that needed that. Do it for the kid, the inner kid, your childhood self who needed that story. Anyways, I just want to leave it off at that. Good luck, everybody. I love you. Bye bye.